Welcome to the third annual International Philadelphia Unity Cup roundtable discussion. I'm Sheila Hess, City Representative for our City of Philadelphia, and I'd like to introduce to all of you our incredible Director of the Philadelphia International Unity Cup, Bill Salvatore, who's joining us this afternoon. And Bill, would you like to introduce the team?
Hey Sheila, sure. Thanks for coming back for a third year. It's always nice to get this
Absolutely.
together. So we have a nice roundtable discussion today, and I'll let you guys introduce yourselves and kind of your background, where you're from soccer-wise. So we'll start here and just work our way down.
T. Bandani, currently playing for Liberia, but I play for Westchester United, Durham Lone Star, and a couple other teams around here, and I play throughout Conestoga for high school, and then New University for school.
Beautiful.
I'm Jason Whaley, head coach of Team Liberia. I coach Kavala FC.
Name's Tim Hampson. I'm coach of Team USA.
Pat Hennigan, coach of Team Ireland.
Paul McDade, player with Team Ireland.
Sylvester Colby, Park and Rec.
Wonderful. So we have a great program for you this afternoon. We have, as you heard, we have some of our teams, the top teams that are going to be playing it off before the October 13th championship game. But we have our coaches, we have some of our players, we have our administrative staff as well. And I just want to get some of your thoughts. So guys, what do you think for the year 3 of the Unity Cup? Some of you have been playing since 2016 with the inception of this great program. So how do you see from year 1 to where we are to year 3 and how it's different and what your thoughts are for this year? T-Ben, you want to kick it off?
I like how the program has definitely grown over the past 3 years, and just to see the diversity of our city and seeing everybody coming together just to bring our people together. It makes me very, very proud in a sense.
Me too. Okay.
Yes, for me, you know, since year 3, the competition is gotten better. You know, we play more competitive team than the first year. So as we can see, the tournament is growing. So it is growing.
Yeah, what Jason said, it's been elevated. Everything is a little bit better. There is no easy points. Every team wants to come out and get 3 points. So
It's fierce now.
It is. The competition is really good, and the level of soccer, especially, I mean, I grew up in Philadelphia and been involved in Philadelphia soccer for years. It's surprising the level of play, how good the players are, how well they play together, and how much emphasis each country has put on the team playing together. So it's really advanced.
And that's our goal. And that's our complete mission of what Mayor Kenny has created with this program. So it is amazing to see it grow like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with the addition as well of the extra teams this year, I think it was more teams.
Yeah.
So I think obviously that made it a lot more appealing. And I think from a player's point of view, guys that are playing in the city, they're obviously going to become aware of it. If the guys are playing in the Castle League or the USL League, you know, whenever they see that the Unity Cup's on, I think it's definitely it's a good incentive to get involved in playing soccer and to continue those leagues. So yeah, long may it continue. I think the city deserves a lot of credit for it. It's running very well.
Thank you.
Well, this is my 3rd year with the Unity Cup, and judging from year 1 to year 3, the Unity Cup has come a long way. The standard of soccer has improved. The players, everybody is just like, it's more unity within the city now with soccer than we ever had before.
Couldn't agree more. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, great job, everyone. So just so you know, we don't have to go in order when we answer questions. We can ping pong back and forth. It's no problem here. So you may know this from social media, from hearing me speak, but Boston, Massachusetts replicated the Unity Cup in a much smaller scale. But what you may not know is they ran it through an outside organization called South End Soccer. Our Unity Cup for all 3 years has been based, you know, with city staff. So I run it as a city employee, and Sylvester works for Park and Rec, and he comes and works the matches as city employees. And Sheila's team are all city employees who help with the block party and the Parade of Nations and all that. So if you guys can just speak a little bit about what it means to be run by the city versus like an outside organization, like a nonprofit.
I think the city running it enhances the event so much, especially events like the block party. that, you know, the city has the resources to pull in the different musical acts and the different dancers. That really does show the diversity of the city. And I don't think you would get that with an outside agency. I think it would become, you know, soccer teams playing tournaments all over the place. And if it's run by an outside agency, it's just another tournament that someone's running, as opposed to really for bragging rights in the city.
Right.
I think that's important to the players, and it definitely increases the competition.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Who's the mayor of Boston?
Marty, I don't know.
Exactly, I don't know who he
Marty's
is. So
last name.
he's not the owning. Oh, yeah, this is
Right.
our mayor took ownership of this, and it's been great. And it's
Yeah.
got. I think it's a real genuine tournament, and I don't know what happened in Boston
Yeah.
if Boston has that aspiration, but
I did have the pleasure of meeting the mayor of Boston at their championship. He did come to the championship. He's a really nice guy, and he was talking trash on, you know, they're taking the Super Bowl back and all that stuff. But I think whatever his last name is, Marty and Mayor Kenny are really, really good
They're
friends.
close.
You know, they talk.
So maybe we can have Unity Cup All-Star for that All-Star.
Yeah.
So-
That could work.
That was one of the ideas.
That was one of the ideas. We have a lot of ideas, Jason. You know that. You know that from year to year, I always have something crazy cooked up to enhance what we're doing. So, anybody else want to talk about the city involvement?
I think having the city run it is actually a great idea because it shows like the awareness of what's going on in our cities. Like soccer goes beyond just the sports.
Right.
Bringing these different groups of people together shows how much the city really rely on each other. And having you guys run that, we can see where the problems are in the city and how we can do some solution to try to work certain aspect. Like certain teams struggle with like playing grounds and all the extraness, but having the city actually seeing where these problems are at, maybe y'all can come to the rescue and bring out more of these problems.
Yeah.
Great.
Good thought.
Thanks.
Good thought. All right, cool. Well, moving on. So, Tim, we're going to direct this one at you, and of course, anyone else can hop in after you answer. So, you're involved with the CASA League, and Paul mentioned that.
you could say that. Yeah.
Yeah, and CASA is one of our sponsors all 3 years, which is great. And part of your mission through CASA is to grow the game of soccer both locally and globally. And I know you have CASA around the country, maybe globally for all I know. So since the inception, have you seen the Unity Cup impact CASA in any way, and if so, how?
Yeah, it's been both ways. I mean, it's been people who find CASA through the Unity Cup. I was one of the crazy people handing out waters on those really hot days in August. And I got to meet a lot of different people who, sure, they find soccer, they find organized soccer like this. This is so elevated. CASA has opportunities for players that are, you know, you could be just coming off the couch and haven't touched the ball in 10 years. And CASA has, I think, a wavelength where you can play and you won't be embarrassed, right? So, but then there's guys like this guy over here who plays in the top league where there's promotion and relegation, and our city championship, we call it the Kelly Cup, we play down at Talent Energy Stadium twice a year as well. So it's just a wonderful relationship because, as you said, soccer is one of those sports that we have to try harder in this country. We have to market differently than other sports. We have to, I think, come together, and everybody here, even though these guys are my opponents, as well, I root for everybody who wants to play soccer organized in the city because it needs all the help and support it can get. So,
Great.
Can I piggyback off
Yeah,
what
go
you're
ahead.
saying? Just look at the amount of talent just within this program just now. That's not really being shown out there. Like these kids really put their everything into this. So that y'all drawing awareness to the top players out here, that could be a good thing, especially for guys that want to make it to the next level.
Yeah, and I think, you know, from someone who has been around recreation my entire life and running recreation leagues and stuff, there's something different, definitely with the Unity Cup about like having the flag on the jersey.
Absolutely. That's
You
what
know?
gives it that unique aspect from the CASA League is we're playing for Team Ireland,
Right.
obviously made up of majority of Irish guys. So I know the team I play for in the CASA League, it's a couple of guys I met out on a night out, so it was just very random. And I'm sure a lot of the teams, I'm sure a lot of the teams are like that. Just you get talking, and we're looking for organised soccer.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's country based and it's made up of guys primarily, obviously not everybody, but guys that are primarily from the country they're playing for, definitely adds to that unique aspect of it. Makes it very appealing. And again, I think the city does deserve a lot of credit for that.
Oh, thanks.
Well, both Tim and Sylvester, I know you guys have both been around soccer pretty much your whole life doing all this, and Pat as well, I know. And so how do you think, though, the Unity Cup really compares to other leagues, being that this is organic? This is something that you said that, you know, Mayor Kenny had this vision when he took office in 2016 to become mayor of our city. And so this is something that I really see embracing who we are as a city, showcasing our diversity. And soccer before this wasn't on the radar and the pulse of Philadelphia. It was always our, you know, top sports between the Eagles and the Phillies and the Flyers and Sixers and Union, but really lifting soccer to more of a forefront and who the audience is. And now we're working with the youth leagues as well. But how do you see the Uni Cup completely different than the other leagues and soccers that you've been doing all your life?
Well, being in Philadelphia for
years.
For years, nearly 30 years now. Our soccer come from nothing to something now. And we start with the World Cup when the World Cup first came to United States. And then it started picking up. Now we had the Unity Cup in Philadelphia. It transformed soccer so much in so many different ways. Take, for instance, we have leagues around Philadelphia, but none is well structured the way the Unity Cup is structured. You know, they always, it's like it's a pickup league. The Unity Cup is different. It's countries, different ethnic background come together and comprise this whole thing. So that what makes the Unity Cup special about soccer here in Philadelphia. It changed the whole aspect of just going out there and playing on a Sunday as a pickup game, or going and play with a team, and you know, that's it. Right. Now you're actually playing for country, so it has more value, more, I mean, representation, more meaning, you understand? So Unity Cup and soccer on the whole in Philadelphia has come a long way, and it's growing. It's getting bigger and bigger and better. As time goes on, it might turn out to be something way bigger than we expected to be.
That's what we want.
I think what the Unity Cup is helping doing is kind of bringing soccer full circle in Philadelphia. Philadelphia had a very vibrant ethnic club, period, from the 40s to the early 70s with the United German Hungarians, Lighthouse, the Ukrainians, that they were winning national cups. And as the city expanded and, you know, people moved to the suburbs, that kind of disappeared, and suddenly an Irish guy like me is playing for one of the German clubs, whereas, you know, my father's age, that never would have happened. And I think the Unity Cup, by bringing it back to being based around your country, around your nationality, is kind of bringing that, some of that same pride back, but also in a very healthy, competitive manner. I mean, every game we've been involved in for 3 years has been hard fought, but fair play. And I think, like I said, it's kind of almost bringing it back neighborhood by neighborhood, but pushing the game forward.
It's just fascinating to me that now in year 3, there's starting off with 52 countries. I mean, that is just fascinating, and knowing that there's so many more other countries represented in our city of Philadelphia that are not part of the Unity Cup, that who knows next year where it's going to be elevated, because I think over the 3 years more with the marketing and promotion of what we're doing for the Unity Cup and your word of mouth and the energy and excitement that you go back to your communities, you really have taken this to a whole different level now. There's so much excitement, and there's buzz, and there's competition, and like I said, it's fierce. Like, everybody's like, nope, we are winning this thing. And so, T-Ben, rumor has it, like, as the tournament, there's like some kind of fan favorite or something. And so how has the Unity Cup for you and your country with Liberia been within the circle? Like, what's the conversation going on?
Who's my favorite player?
Has it been received well in your community? And like, how's Liberia? What are their thoughts on this?
I mean, it's definitely a talk in our community. It's bringing our people together. As you see from the first year, we had a lot of fan base, and that fan base even grew into year 2. Like, we brought the entire culture. As you see, we coming out the gate with the drums, getting the fans, people who are not here in Liberian are dancing with us as we're coming outside. So we're kind of rubbing off that culture on the next vibe. So it's been pretty well.
Amazing. Good. Thank you.
No, that's great. So Jason, we've had this conversation many times, right? So there's a message with the Unity Cup that we know that not all teams like to abide by, right?
Right.
So can you talk a little bit about the underlying message of what the Unity Cup's all about, what we're trying to do, and how you see it translated on and off the field in either the positive light or the negative light?
Yeah, for me, I've been in the Unity Cup 3 years now. What I see the Unity Cup to be is to bring us together, But at a certain point, I think a lot of countries, they're getting carried away, that is, because the competitiveness is hard. So they forgot to know the Unity Cup is here to bring us together. Like I always call some coaches, I let them know, listen, this is not a World Cup. We're not playing for the World Cup. The city is just trying to bring us together. So number one thing is unity first, and fair play. So, after every game, tell the referees thank you, shake coaches in, move forward, because it's there to bring us together. Because I met people I'd never seen before, like yourself from Ireland, Senegal, and all over the world. So apart from the Unity Cup, who knows? We were still going to be in Southwest Philadelphia, just Liberia and Sierra Leone. But with the Unity Cup, we get to meet a lot of people. So, like, going forward, I think we should, keep to that aspect of it. Like, the Unity Cup is here for unity. We're not here playing for World Cup. That's the positive thing I like about the Unity Cup.
Yeah, I'd just like to get a player's perspective on it, because I know when you get on the field to play, it's hard to remember, right? Like, look, we want to win a soccer match.
Absolutely, and I think with the adding to the uniqueness of this is the format of it, and that it's it's similar to a World Cup, and you have your group games and then you're into a knockout. So it's we're going into those games and we're leaving it all there. It's all on the line, and it definitely increases the competitive edge to it. Knowing that all right, we're in the last 16 game, it's win or you're out. So definitely it definitely keeps the fire burning. And it's definitely competitive on the field, but as we said, like we've definitely been involved in a few games where it's been physical, but it's been fair, and nobody ever wants to be a referee. It doesn't matter what sport. It doesn't matter if it's a U10 pickup baseball. It's the referees' jobs are the most difficult, and it's no different here. But they've been very good, and I think the players have responded quite well. And at the end, like we always do, we do shake our hands and get on with it. We play hard, but we play fair.
That's great.
Anybody else want to chime in there?
Well, I think we've been involved for 3 years also, and through meeting people, and we're following each other on social media. That where I knew FC Lone Star was out there, now I know, okay, they're playing at Bonner on Tuesday night, and it's like, okay, let's go watch these guys play. Mm-hmm. We play Jamaica at friendly every year and sit around and socialize with them. And it's like, we look like once this team starts towards the Unity Cup, it's like the first message I get is from Jamaica, like, when are we going to play? and a couple other teams too. And I think it really is helping everybody reach across and, starting dialogues and relationships that are just wonderful.
Yeah, it's forged so many different relationships that would have never occurred. So I think that's so empowering.
And it helps like reconnect a lot of people. Like Coach Pat right here, he used to be one of my coaches when I was younger, and I haven't seen him in years. But throughout the Unity Cup, we were able to reconnect. And so with a lot of these guys that we play against each other, but at the end of the day, we're still friends. When we get off that field, it's the utmost respect for each other. We shake each other's hands. And half the guys that I play against, when I leave the field, I'm going to their house to go hang out. So that's the most important thing about it, is that friendship and that togetherness.
That's great.
And I'll tell you what, so you guys may remember Sam, who didn't come back this year. He was captain of Nigeria year one and had Iraq last year.
Yes.
Yeah, and so he didn't have a team this year, but when he did the focus group last year, he said, and it's a quote I will take with me forever with the Uni Cup is there's a spirit on the pitch and a spirit off the pitch. And when you're on the pitch, it's okay. Like, you're going to knock each other around. You're going to play as hard as you can, and almost kill each other for 90 minutes plus, right? Well, when the match is over, the sportsmanship and the fair play kick in, and I tell every photographer that works for us, I said, get the pictures at the end of the game, because as soon as the game's over, you're going to see them run over and start hugging each other. And they're always like, really? I'm like, yeah. And that's what it is. That's
true.
what it is.
You do see within the different leagues, we'll recognise players in different leagues.
Yeah.
Oh, he plays for the Jamaican Unity Cup team, but he's also in it. So there's that where our paths are crossing as well. So again, it's all positive.
And that's the funny thing about it is like we played Guinea 2 weeks ago, and half of the Guinea guys are some of my closest friends. So we come on the field, I don't know you, I don't like you. Well, as soon as that whistle blows, the game's over, and then it's come right back to that circle, that friendship.
Yeah.
Well, I know our office, my team, the Office of City Representative, our mission is to market and promote the city of Philadelphia. And so one of our initiatives that we've been doing more and more is we are utilizing the brand now of the Philadelphia International Uni Cup as a huge marketing tool for tourists and visitors to come to the city of Philadelphia. It's become like an economic impact that we're having. And so because of all this, you see the increase of sponsors that have come on board now. If you look at our banner in 2018 compared to when we started in 2016, we now have metrics and measurements. And like I said, these teams, Global Philadelphia, so for a fun fact, the city of Philadelphia is the first city for a designation of a World Heritage Site in the entire United States. So City of Philadelphia is the city of first. So we always say we are proud to be the first World Heritage City. They came on board as a sponsor, Global Philadelphia. I know their logo's on your shirt among many others, but how does that feel to know that you're playing for a city now that is a World Heritage City and that your countries are represented, but it's also helps us have an edge, I think, because we do have that bid in to be the city for the World Cup in 2026, right? Mm-hmm. And so all this is helping us leverage to use our marketing promotion as a tool for our international business to come here and to see what you're doing is fascinating. So do you have how do you feel about that? Do you see another opportunity to use this as, to gain international visitors and to help with this World Heritage?
I think Boston's taking your lead, so I think that really
replication is a sign of flat, right?
That's pretty much the nail on the head. If other cities are looking at, hey, what's Philadelphia doing?
Yeah.
And replicating it, that kind of speaks more volumes than...
Yeah, and out of the 52 countries, I think out of the 52, 29 of them, if I'm not mistaken, that we polled are representing other countries that are also World Heritage Sites. And that is because there's only a designation of 300 worldwide that are a World Heritage. So Philadelphia is one, and that you're part of that.
It's good to see the power of sports. I mean, how you can generate so much just by bringing people together.
Yes,
for a cause of greater good. So now that we're drawing all these attention, now let's focus on actually giving back to our youth, because the youth is the power. Because the more kids are actually being involved in sports, the more they can develop, and the more they can go somewhere with that.
You're developing the future.
You're developing the future.
Yeah. Yeah, and like I said, with the sponsors, none of this could happen without our sponsors, so we are extremely grateful. But of course, we accept more sponsors, but to know that now that word is out, and everybody's like, hey, tell me a little bit more about this. I see it, like with the Unity Cup, we were in the block party. Our office helps produce those events, and like you said, we're able to bring together the different cultures and get their entertainment involved. But when you're in the neighborhood and you're not somewhere in an enclosed and everything's free, that we offer a free, fun, family-friendly kind of an environment, like these neighborhoods see it and then they ask, what's going on? What is that? Like there's fun, but yet there's a game going on? Like what is that, an all-day affair? Like the family that we bring out. And when I went and you see the stands and you see the energy in those stands and you see all levels of family from the youth to the parents to the grandparents and neighbors and friends coming out to cheer you on. Must feel really cool to be on that field.
Yeah. Ish.
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah, the folks are here right now.
Yeah, you have that fan. Yeah.
Paul's parents are here. They're here for the Unity Cup, not to see Paul.
They're fed up seeing me. Yelling at me. But no, it'll be interesting to see, say, in 10 years' time, what other cities have maybe tried to bring it on, and hopefully there's a long list of cities that have tried to replicate.
So you'll be my ambassador if we have to go over for a Unity Cup Dublin
Talk
meeting
to
or
me,
something?
Agents.
When Bayern was here for their clinics and playing that match, we were hoping we got a Unity Cup Bayern match out of it, but it didn't happen.
So we do a lot of flag raisins for the different countries to celebrate their Independence Day, and we proudly raise their flag at City Hall, and it's a big moment, and we're really proud of that. So every opportunity that we get when we do comments during these flag raisins, we promote the Unity Cup, we promote the schedule, we talk about the countries, and so this is another opportunity that we can use this in talking points and all the messages, and the mayor uses reference to the Unity Cup and whatever he's talking about. There's something that comes along that he's like, the Unity Cup, you need to be there, you need to be part of it. It's an experience like no other. So, and again, it's thanks to Bill, who the mayor had that vision. Bill made it happen, and you guys are the reason that we have it, because without the players and the teams, so.
Well, if I could go back to the World Cup bid, I think having an event like the Unity Cup can only enhance the city's position, because look, you can go and say we have 52 countries playing here.
In 2018, let's see what we have.
Well, it's like, it doesn't matter what World Cup's going to be here. If it's going to be South Africa versus Iceland, you're going to have a crowd in that stadium, because there's people from every country, and they love soccer, and you'll fill the stadium.
And this summer, Italy and Germany were here playing, right? Bill?
They were club teams. But
but that was a big game as well to come
huge,
to Philadelphia to perform. And,
Nice. All right, so let's talk to the players again. So one of our sponsors, PFCU, Philadelphia Federal Credit Union, they decided to come out and be an award sponsor this year. So we added the Golden Boot Award. All right, let me get some names here for you. So our current leader is Seydou Ba from Ivory Coast. He wears the do-rag. Anthony Allison, perennial goal scorer from Liberia. We have Padraic McCullough, is that how we say it? Padraic.
Padraic is the biggest Irish name in the whole.
He's Ireland's top goal scorer, and then that's from USA. And then Liam O'Donnell is the top goal scorer from Ireland. So kind of a two-part question. Anybody can chime in. So, as far as the talent goes, especially goal scoring talent, because that's what this is about, what are you guys seeing out there? And then secondly, what awards would you like to see moving forward if other sponsors want to say, hey, we'll sponsor this, or we want PFC wants to get in bigger? What do you guys think?
For me, I think they should add the golden gloves for the goalies. So if not, I'm into defense. So if they can have a best defensive team for the Golden Glove, which is include a goalie, but I think they should have a Golden Glove for the goalie, the last goal, the best goalie in the tournament. So I think that's the award they should look after.
A player, sorry to cut you off.
You good.
I think at least in the knockout rounds, every team there has at least one or two players that are just, you got to watch out for, right? And we played Ukraine last weekend, tough battle, and we just stopped going down the left-hand side because their right back was just, he was their best player. He was just so smart, technical, and if there was a player of the match award, all of us were like, man, he's a really good player. And all of us, our entire side said, man, they're a good team, and by the way, let's go that way. When you're attacking Ukraine, go that way. So.
I think the top goal scorer one's obviously an obvious one, and it's obviously deserved. But yeah, an MVP maybe, and if it was just to include maybe just to include the games from the knockout stage, maybe an MVP would definitely excite the players as well.
That's nice.
But I think the most important award should be the most disciplined team, because with all them red cards and yellow cards, so I think, you know, going forward, they should let the team know that they're gonna have a best
Sportsmanship
award. Maybe that will calm the tension down a little bit, because we will always remember, wow, maybe we might not win the Unity Cup, but we can win the best, you know, disciplined team this year.
Yeah,
so that's what I'm saying.
It's something we saw at this year's World Cup. With Senegal, I think it was, that were actually, they didn't progress from their group at the actual World Cup because of their fair play record.
Right,
They
yeah.
had more yellow and red cards than anybody else, so it's definitely, it wouldn't be alien if it was introduced.
It didn't come into play, but believe it or not, USA got the 8 seed and Nigeria the 9 seed because USA had one less card than Nigeria. It didn't really affect the seedings at all.
Right, yeah. No more cards.
But it could have.
Yeah,
It could have been the difference between
absolutely.
like 24 and 25 and somebody not getting in or something. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay.
And maybe a goal of the tournament. If the city has, I mean, if the city has representatives at every game.
So if they have that, then I might have to actually. Right now, it's all about the team. It's all about the team.
I know, it's all about
They have that. I mean,
individual award. Just out of interest, how many goals does Liam McDonald have?
You'll catch up.
Not enough to catch Seydu, don't worry about it. I don't think anybody's catching Seydu at this point. Go ahead, Sheila, you're up.
Yeah, I was going to say, so now we all know the importance of social media, right? It could be good, it could be bad. But from my understanding, T-Ben, you have a very large presence on social media. But the Unity Cup is not there yet, but we are getting there. We're starting to get a lot more followers. We're starting to get a lot more, interaction through social media. But what do you think are some ways, like ideas, that we can enhance our social media presence out there to attract more followers, to get that message across? I mean, it's all visuals. We're always showing clips and videos of the highlights of the games and some photos and some testimonials as well. But any other ideas that can help us for our future with increase in social media, because it's worldwide and we want it to spread, we want it to be viral.
I mean, so far what I've learned, because I started off my own small little business, and it's pretty much the same aspect of what the Unity Cup is really representing, is to bring the community together and pay attention to the youth, and we want to use sports as a way to reach out.
Yeah.
And so far, just being consistent of what you post is one of the most important things, because some people may post today and then wait for like 2 weeks and then make another post, but you got to understand, like, the attention span of everybody now is so quick, and they rather see quick visuals, something really cool, as they may say, something really cool, and then keep it moving. So that consistency and constant interaction with the people makes it look like you actually are paying attention, and that they're able to react to you more often.
Love it. Good. Anybody else active on social media that can give some tips for us to?
Definitely not easy. I'm not sure what sort of relationship the city has with Bradley Cooper, but maybe they could get him to
We'll work on that.
maybe he's
She was
your guy.
actually, actually friends with him.
I was with him last week for his premiere. It's pretty amazing. So that's good to have a spokesperson, like a local Philadelphian who's a spokesperson for it. I love that idea.
Yeah, and I will say this. So one of our dreams, and it's on every marketing meeting agenda we have. It's the last thing on there, and somewhere Frankie's laughing, and Juan always laughed at it. But the very last thing would be like Joel Embiid, our dream. Like, we keep tweeting at him, seeing if we get him after a Cameroon match or something. Because if we get Joel Embiid to retweet or do something one time, his 15 million followers get it.
That's also, you need that one moment, one celebrity come in.
Yeah,
especially y'all do the music festival out here. You can put together. I can come out and perform for y'all. Bring some.
All right.
Everybody's favorite rapper.
I'm loving it. That's excellent. Okay. Good.
Nice. So, Paul, 3 years. Have you played all 3 years for Ireland? So, just talk a little bit. Has your team changed much over 3 years? Have you kept the same core? How's Coach approached it over the course of 3 years? So obviously the tournaments evolved, so your team had to evolve.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that the core of the team would be similar. There has been changes in personnel. I know this year, with the game starting earlier, we weren't able to include as many of the guys that play GA, which is very active in the Irish community in the summer months. But it's interesting because we're playing off a smaller roster this year, and it can also maybe it's not the worst thing, because the guys that are on know that they've got to bring it to the field, and they've got to do their best, and they're playing more as a team. But I think, as I said, I think the core of the players has been the same. The roster has definitely changed. We've definitely brought in some good players for this year, and I think any of the players that have been involved before, that are looking in this year, will definitely be more than eager to get back involved next year.
Nice. You want anything to that, Pat?
No, like I said, we had to adjust somewhat just because the schedule got moved up. And I think some of the fellas that have played in the past that decided they wanted to focus on the Gale football through August are kind of regretting that now. And we do have a couple players that basically defied their Gale coach and are doing both.
Doing both, yeah.
It's a learning process for everyone. I think we lost some good players, but we also found some good players. So, unfortunately, all from the Irish American community. So, we're fortunate the Irish American community is fairly large. So we have a large pool of players to recruit from. We're fortunate that way, and we've kept our roster. I think in 3 years there have only been 2 players who were not either directly from Ireland or Irish American.
Oh, wow.
And, we've pretty much told everyone that if you want to be involved, that's like the base. Forget about your talent. It's like this is for our community, for your country and your heritage. And I think, hopefully all the countries are doing that, but we just happen to be fortunate that we lost 4 starters and we were able to find guys, to step in for it.
So, and Tim, you don't have that problem because you represent USA. Right? So, but you're an interesting story because your team has definitely evolved over the course of 3 years. So I think I told Sheila yesterday, and you guys all know Tim ran Team Germany for the first 2 years. Part of out of necessity because USA was taken and we didn't have a German coach, and Councilman Taubenberger really wanted a German team. But we didn't have a German coach or a U.S. coach this year, so Tim decided to make the change. But
we got to get a German team in there next year.
Yeah, we got the German team. We got to get the German team back. What are your thoughts on how you've changed things over the course of 3 years? And I know a lot has to do with the guy sitting to your right.
That's basically it. Like we came in on fire. We had a lot of guys who, when you Googled the roster, you'd say, "Oh man, these guys are really good." But then we went up against these guys, and then we were like, "Oh man!" All right, so yeah, it changed a lot. We played a 3-5-2 against these guys. And we're like, "Oh man, that's not the way to do this." I think it was 4-0 at half. And we're like, "All right, one thing we're gonna do is we're gonna change the back line. Let's start there."
Speed demons.
Yeah, and so I think that really recalibrated the way the team was kind of carefully picked with a few people, myself, Andrew Sinclair, Kev Curran, some of the sort of guys who've been around the block, been really part of the team all 3 years, but started to reach out to, because it's a big commitment. As you say, it's hard to find reliable, talented players who also aren't going to embarrass you, right? Aren't going to be hotheads, aren't going to be like, "Oh man, I can't believe they did that again." Another red. So that's also another thing you have to consider when you're selecting a team. And anybody watching this that's looking at it from 2019, think about that. When you say you want to sign up in whatever country you want to represent, that's a very big piece. You have to get commitments from people, and they have to be true on their word that, hey, this is a big deal, because as we just touched on, this is a spotlight on your community. So it's a big deal, especially for Team USA. We were very careful on who was brought onto the team.
Yeah, that is definitely a commitment. You have to.
Yeah. And Jason, you guys, you're perennial semifinalists.
Yes.
Right? And finalists.
Yes.
And T-Ben's been around them for a while, and see Daniel out there a bunch, and Anthony, of course. I don't know if Titus has been around for all 3 years or not.
Yeah,
he's been there.
No, 2 years.
2 years. 2 years.
So has your team changed much, or are you bringing back the same team year after year that's looking for their third trip to the championship?
Yeah, basically it's the same thing. We only got maybe 2 players that we add on, But basically for 3 years, I brought the same players. Yes, we have a lot of we have a lot of players from my country. Believe it or not, we do have tryout to make Liberia team. So if you come there right before the summer start, we have tryout for Team Liberia. So basically, yeah, and for some reason, TBN then they say, well, we can't get cut, so they bring out there with our A game.
Come out with the A game, you know?
Because we still have youth, like that we were saying, like the Guinean team, like 85% of the players from Liberia, they try out, they did not make Liberia team, that's how come they went to Guinea. So yeah, it's kind of tough on the coaches, because we have a lot of talents, and you just got to pick the best one.
Right, it's my understanding that if you're from Guinea or Liberia, Sierra Leone, because chances are you're all four countries in your heritage, right?
Like a lot of
marrying between countries, kind of like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or something.
There you go,
tri-state. Tri-state area.
It's good having everybody back. 'Cause that chemistry stays the same, and everybody knows what you're here for. Because right now, as you get into the final stages, even though we won last year, that's not the focus. Most of the guys can only think about the first year.
Yeah.
As you get into these last dying stages, because you already know what it's in for. And it's good to have everybody back, because a lot of people, they sleep because I'm small. having new people, they underestimate what I'm capable of doing on the field.
And they come to try and say, who is this guy?
And they be like, yeah, who is that small little
baby?
Okay, well, I know I just talked about social media. So now we're really thrilled to have two key media partners. We have 6ABC, who is the television media partner, and we have KYW 1060, who is our radio partner. So we're really looking forward to the night of the championship game on October 13th, because 6ABC is going to be live streaming the game, and KYW is going to be completely changing up their radio format for the championship game. So that means your family and friends from your country can participate and feel like they're there with you, cheering you on, creating their own, party at home to watch the game. So this is an opportunity. It's not just local, that they're not here in the stands cheering you on, but they can be doing it from afar now. And so how are we going to promote that or do that, and what does that mean for you? Because our office gets to produce in collaboration with the many other city departments that have we have an incredible relationship together doing this event. But there'll be the Parade of Nations. And so with the Parade of Nations is a site that it's just moving. It's really an experience to see all 52 countries marching around the field, carrying proudly their banner, and the crowds behind them, and to see that back home for where your families are, to be able to watch that, and then to watch you on the field. And so now with technology and everything, and that 6ABC and our radio station have agreed to this, it's something that we're excited to make sure that it's promoted among you and your teams.
Now for the next couple of weeks, can I help y'all on your social media aspect?
Absolutely.
Yes, talk to Mr. Salvatore over there.
Absolutely. Make sure you follow Sheila Show Philly on Twitter, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
Yes. But no, we're excited for this opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, it's incredible how far the whole technology has come. Some of the older generation of Irish guys that have been here 10, 20 years, and they couldn't even get a soccer game on TV or the radio, and now here we are, and we have I'm sure they would love the opportunity that we've been given as players to play at somewhere like the Talon Energy Stadium, somewhere where it's going to be broadcast and it can be seen around the world. It's quite incredible. So I think as players we're definitely embracing it and hoping that we put on a good show. It's
funny because year one, we didn't have any of these partnerships, and I remember being at the parade, and you guys all know Abner, who coaches Honduras, and he's if you had to put a face of the Unity Cup other than mine, it may be his, because he just promotes the heck out of it. He's always around. And here he is walking through the parade, and he's got his phone out, and I'm talking to him, I'm like, what's with the phone? He's like, oh, I'm on Facebook Live. I said, what are you doing on Facebook Live? He's like, people back in Honduras have to see this. So now with the help of 6ABC and they're streaming, he can just give them the link and say, hey, you can watch the Unity Cup and you can watch the parade from back home, which is pretty neat.
So go ahead, Coach.
Well, I just, the Irish community, although it's very strong in Philadelphia, it's also, the diaspora, we're spread out
Yeah.
around the world. And, you know, probably almost every player on the team has a relative living in another part of the United States, if not in Ireland. And I think it's wonderful not only for potential international views, but just in other areas of the United States for, you know, I mean, my son's in Florida. He played for us last year. He can watch it down in Florida, you know. I think it's an amazing opportunity, and, you know, the players do have to love it.
Yeah,
you know.
and in terms of getting it out there, make sure that the players are putting it on their own personal social media, obviously.
We want those numbers, those views.
I absolutely love that idea, because I still have a lot of family back home, and some of them have not seen me play since I left home.
There you go.
So
You want to prove to them now you.
You know, my name was pretty big in my community when I was young. So I gotta go represent for the guys.
You will.
Yeah, Bill. Like I was saying, is there any way we can get Power 99, 103 involved? Because you know, a lot of my fan base, you know, they don't even listen to KYW, because a lot of people think it's a news radio.
Right.
So like the Power 99, the 103, that's just for promotion. Maybe next year. Because when we have that little breakfast meeting, you know, I brought it up. So maybe it will help, like especially during the playoffs. You know, they can help promote the game to get more people out here. Because a lot of people listen to them.
We'll make that happen.
Yeah, if you guys can do that.
We'll work on it.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
We'll
Sheila
work
knows
on
all
it.
those people.
Okay,
so.
there you go.
Sheila knows those people. So, Pat and Jason, from a coaching perspective, and Tim, we'll talk to you about this in a second. What does it mean to be able to coach? Because win or lose this weekend, you're going to be coaching at Talent Energy Stadium. So, how's that going to feel when you all leave the locker room, because we're using the locker rooms down there, leave the locker room, walk out into that field with your teams, whether it be for the third place game or hopefully the championship? Like, what's that going to feel like, you think, being on the Union's field? And, you know, we played at Citizens Bank, we played at Lincoln Financial, but this is a soccer stadium.
Yeah, for me, last year, that's why it even gave me the motivation in my players. Cause although we play on the Eagle Stadium, but my guys like, yeah, listen, we play on the Eagle Stadium, but that's not a real soccer stadium. You know, I want to play at the Union Stadium, which is a real soccer player. So, you know, coming out of the locker room, like you said, you know, it would be great for us, you know. Maybe if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I would be the only coach that play on the Philly Stadium, the Eagle, and the Stadium.
You might be,
you know, so, yeah, I might be. So, you know, that's one motivation that my guys, you know, they looking up to play on the Union Stadium.
You may have that over every professional coach as well.
Yes.
Yes. Pat?
So, finger crossed.
I think it's wonderful. I mean, everybody knows the difference in the layout between, you know, the Link and Citizens Bank Park versus Talon Field, where the fans are going to be right there.
Yes.
And I think just that adds so much to the atmosphere, and I think it's going to be a wild crowd no matter.
Are we getting the Sons of Ben?
Yeah, we're working on it.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a great atmosphere, and it'll be truly humbling to be able to walk out there and coach these guys.
Yeah. So Tim, from your perspective, you mentioned earlier you play your Kelly Cup for Casa down there. And I guess it's usually after a Union game probably. And, you know, what do you think the difference is going to be? Like, crowd-wise, you think it'll be a bigger crowd, I'm sure. And what about the whole vibe?
Yeah, I mean, the vibe's going to be amazing. It's going to be, you know, having 4 teams and then having the 2 youth teams and then having the parade. It's going to be a party, and it's going to be a very memorable day for anybody who steps onto the pitch. That grass, by the way, is so much better than
I worked there.
Yeah, it's a lot better. All right, so you're going to see, I think, just the quality of soccer last year. Even though it was cold, it was still really good soccer. Yeah. But you're going to see it this year because it is a wide pitch, and you're going to see when they're switching balls from one side to the other, like, oh, that's an incredible ball, and you see it, and it's just the sight lines of the stadium. I'm a big fan of the stadium. I'm obviously a big fan of the Union as well, but no, it's a very good setup, and it's a wonderful and a proper place to play and have our final day, the championship day.
Nice. And I'm happy to share with U3 coaches that are here, and we'll make sure Will or Mike knows from Ivory Coast. But the union are going to grant us a second walkthrough with just the coaches, so you guys will know exactly where everybody's going to park, the locker room access situation. You see the whole path through the bowels of the stadium out to the field, exactly how it's going to work on game day. So we'll be setting that up in the next couple of weeks.
Great.
So you guys all know that. All right. So one last thing, and it kind of goes to Jason and Pat a little bit, and I know you guys kind of grew up in the area, and Tim. So I just want to talk a little bit about youth soccer. Right. So Jason knows that year one of the Unity Cup, out of it came what we call the Unity Youth League, and it all stems from a quick story that our commissioner tells, Catherine at Lovell, of how a couple kids were stranded down at Citizens Bank because the coach locked his keys in the car, so she gave him the ride home. And lo and behold, one of them was from Ghana, one's from Mali, and I think the other one may have been from either Liberia or Sierra Leone. And they were traveling from Southwest Philly and Upper Darby to Kensington to play soccer, and taking 3 buses to do it. So quickly we sprung into action, and we said, okay, we got to find a way to get soccer into communities that are underserved. So U.S. Soccer Foundation became a really good partner, and we started. And year one, we did 3 sites, and Jason was one of them down at Myers, and now we're up to like 22 sites across the city. So just any connections that you may have from the Unity Cup to what's going on in youth soccer, I'd love to hear about.
Well, my connection is really through Kensington Soccer. I happen to have a couple of nieces and nephews that are playing up there.
Oh, nice.
And it was from what was once one of the hottest soccer neighborhoods in the world, there was suddenly nothing and no opportunities. So to be able to see these kids, instead of traveling up to Roxborough or something to play or go further up in the Northeast, now they have a community-based program, and it's wonderful, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. And I think it's great that through EPYSA, I'm affiliated with a suburban club. We're doing things like sending goals and nets down to Kensington.
Right.
As we replace things, it's like, anybody that can use it, EPYSA is very helpful, that nothing goes to waste, that we're able to kind of give back to like the neighborhoods I grew up in, that when soccer kind of fled and went to the suburbs, it's now returned.
Right.
And those kids are really underserved, and I think the Youth League is just going to kickstart that, the neighborhoods back up.
Jason?
Yeah, Bill, like you said, like year one, we did the youth soccer for success on Myers. Still, for me, it's great because, we get to get the kids, out of the street, after school, they look up to something to do. But like even this year, I went up there. I had 3 coaches ready to go, but just like it's the field. We don't have field up there, like the grass. I always saying that. I talked to Miss, what's her name, Catherine, because she runs her after-school program. She had a lot of kids, but when I came out there, I can't put our kids out there. So it is a great thing. We, like Liberian, we always look up to that. The community is very huge, and we have a lot of, kids that really love soccer, but we can't do this without a field. So once we can get fields, like we ready to help. I got T-Band. I spoke to T-Band, a couple of players. This year they ready to help me out. So, but if no field, we can't really do nothing. If there's no field.
I coach the youth, and that's my goal is to coach the youth. I coached at Great Valley for a little bit, and I also do personal training. So that's my goal is to use soccer as a way to give these kids motivation. Because growing up for me, soccer was my outlet, and I was blessed enough to leave my community in order to get that experience. Like, I grew up in Southwest, but I didn't go to school around this area. I was blessed enough to go to Conestoga, so it's a whole different aspect of what's going on soccer-wise, and the amount of equipment you easily have access to compared to being out here. Where I'm out here, I don't want to go outside to go train. I don't want to, because there's not really anything there for me to use to go train, so that motivation is not there anymore. And this is where I want these kids to keep having that vision, to keep fighting. And we want to use every tool possible. And I have a bunch of friends that are willing to go out their way to be the coaches and the sponsors for these kids. So whatever y'all need, we'll make it happen. We just got to have better fields and better situations for these kids.
Yeah, and that's one thing that we're definitely working on. So, you know, I know, Jason, we talked about the Rebuild Initiative and what's going to happen down at Myers and Finnegan, but we definitely need community involvement. So don't forget that when those meetings happen, we got to get the kids out and the parents out.
Let me know.
You know, soccer's important down here. We got to make sure we have a good spot for everyone to play soccer. So, all right, so that's it, unless Sheila has anything else.
No, I just want to say we look forward to seeing everyone to come out. Bring your family, your friends, your neighbors, your colleagues, everyone on October 13th. It's a Saturday at Talent Energy Stadium. We're the home of the Philadelphia Union. Get to see who will be in the championship game.
We will all be there.
Two-piece.
We will all be there. All 52 countries will be there as well that have started off this tournament. We ask you all to follow PHL Unity Cup as well if you'd like to have more information about the schedule for anything about this Saturday of transportation, whatever. We ask you to follow unitycup.phila.gov as well. And we thank you for all your support, and thank you for being part of the program today.
Thank you for having us.
Incredible leadership, Bill.
It's been a pleasure.
And on behalf of Mayor Kenny and the entire city of Philadelphia, thank you.